So I actually created this in-depth guide on how you go from staying with your parents or renting your own place to owning your very first HDB flat. Buying your first house in Singapore is a huge milestone and can feel quite overwhelming at times. But don't worry, I've got you covered. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do step by step. So step number 1, you're gonna apply for your HFE or HDB flat eligibility letter. Before you can book a BTO flat or buy a resale flat, you need this HFE. This is an important step because it determines whether you're eligible for a HDB flat, how much loan you can get, be it bank or HDB loan, as well as how much grants you qualify for. I have attached a step-by-step guide for the HFE at the end of the video. Once approved, you'll know exactly how much financing you qualify for, and this means you can confidently plan your house purchase. So step 2, understanding the government grants. Let's go over the key ones. The key ones are the Enhanced Housing Grant, the CPF Housing Grant, as well as the Proximity Housing Grant. So the Enhanced Housing Grant is for both BTO and resale flats. For families, you get up to 120k, and for singles, you get up to 60k in grants. Next, your CPF Housing Grants. So this is actually dependent on the size of the flat that you go for. For families, you get up to 80k if you are going for a 4-room or smaller flat, and 50k if you are going for a 5-room or bigger flat. For singles, you get up to 40k for a 4-room or smaller flat, and 25k for a 5-room or bigger flat. And lastly would be the Proximity Housing Grant. So you typically get up to 20k if you are staying within 4km of your parents, or 30k if you are staying with your parent as an essential occupier. So you can combine multiple grants, greatly reduce up to 200k on the cost of your HDB. Next step, now let's talk money. How much do you actually need to afford your HDB? So you got your HDB loan, your bank loan. HDB loan is typically a bit higher in terms of interest rate, but they are more stable. At the same time, there's no cash upfront needed, but there's a household income cap of $14,000. For bank loan, however, you are going for a lower interest rate, but it's a bit more volatile. However, there is a higher cash needed upfront. For resale flats, if you are taking a HDB loan, you can decide how much cash, how much CPF you want to use. Whereas if you're taking a bank loan, you need to have a minimum of 5% of it be in cash. So for example, if you're buying a resale flat for 600k, your down payment will be 150k. Of that 150k, 30k will have to be in cash. The remaining 120k can be in cash and or CPF. And now for grants. So for example, your partner and you qualify for 150k in grants based on your HFE. You are looking to buy a resale flat that costs 600k. These grants will then be used to offset the total cost of the HDB flat. In this case, it offsets 25% of the HDB flat's price. The remaining 75% of the HDB flat's price has to be offset by your CPF funds as well as your loan. However, same thing applies if you're taking a bank loan, 5% of this still has to be paid in cash. You'll need to decide if you have enough CPF savings to afford this down payment. So other costs to budget for is your stamp duty, which can be 1 to 4% of your purchase price. Your legal fees can be up to $2,500 depending if you're using a private lawyer. Your renovation cost, depending on how much reno you're doing, 20 to 80k. And your potential COV, which can range from a few to tens of thousands of dollars. If you're worried about affordability, go for a smaller flat, use up more CPF savings, and go for additional housing grants if you can. Next step, BTO versus resale, which should you choose? So BTOs are cheaper, brand new, and you can use your grants, but they take 3 to 5 years of building time. In addition, they are further classified into the standard, plus, and prime models. For the standard models, they have 5-year MOPs, whereas the plus and prime models, they have 10-year MOP. The plus and prime models also have a subsidy clawback of within 6 to 9%. For example, if you were to sell your prime BTO in the future for $1 million, $90,000 of it has to go back to HDB. Also, your future buyers are limited to a household income of $14,000. And lastly, you're also not allowed to rent out your whole flat after hitting the 10-year MOP. Resale HDBs, however, are move-in ready, available in more locations, and also get more grants. However, they do cost more. If you need a home fast, go for resale. If you can wait and want to save a bit more money, go for a BTO. So you need to carefully consider about your first home purchase. It has to make sense. For many people, this is just a stepping stone into private property. So, how will a purchase not make sense? Number 1, overpaying for the flat. You're not checking the recent transaction prices in the area, thus causing you to overpay for the flat. Number 2, short lease balance. HDB flats depreciate over time, especially those with less than 60 years left. At the same time, there are other CPF as well as loan restrictions when it comes to buying an older flat. Number 3, poor location and amenities. The resale flat may be far from transport options as well as lacking nearby schools, shopping malls, or even healthcare facilities. Number 4, bad unit layout and facing. So for this, it could be an odd-shaped layout with wasted space, and west-facing units can be too hot due to the afternoon sun. Number 5, upcoming negative developments. For example, future construction projects that could block your view, as well as new BTO launches nearby that may lower resale demand. In addition to that point, if the area is aging, has poor demand, or many flats hitting the resale market at the same time, you may struggle to sell later. Bonus tip: always check the HDB map services for upcoming developments, recent transactions, and lease details before buying. And last step, finally, applying for your HDB flat. For BTO flats, you will apply during a sales launch on the HDB website. Wait for the balloting results. If successful, within the next few months, you'll know. Once you get a good number, book your flat and pay the option fee. Within 9 months, you'll be invited to sign the agreement for lease, and this is where you pay your down payment, your buyer stamp duty, as well as your legal fee. If all good, wait for completion and key collection. For resale flats, you're gonna search for the listings online, either on the HDB flat portal, 99.co, or Property Guru. You negotiate on the price and the terms, and the seller will give you this thing called the OTP, or option to purchase. You will need to exercise the OTP within 21 days. Once exercised, submit your HDB application and get it approved. Once approved, you'll endorse the HDB documents and wait for completion. That's everything you need to know about owning your very first HDB in Singapore. If you found this video helpful, like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you're going for a BTO or a resale flat. Stay tuned for part 2 where we'll talk about upgrading from a HDB to a condo. See you in the next video. Now, let's go through the step-by-step guide of the HFE application process. There are actually 2 parts to the HFE application process. The first will be the preliminary check, and next will be the actual application. So for the preliminary check, log on to HDB's portal, log in with your SingPass to begin your application. Now you'll want to declare the number of applicants. If you're buying for a partner, fill in as 2 applicants. If you're buying as a single, fill in as a single applicant. Click on Retrieve My Info via SingPass to autofill the details. Next step, enter your employment and income details. This is where you key in your monthly salary. So select the months where you receive the bonus and enter the amount. Ensure that this is as accurate as possible because this affects your loan eligibility. Next step, property and loan declarations. This is where you declare if you own or have disposed of any private property, local or overseas. You'll also declare if you are taking a loan for the purchase or not. Also, declare any loan commitments, for example, credit card loans or car loans or any other loans that you have. Make sure you double check everything. Once you proceed, you cannot make changes without restarting the application. You'll then come to a page where you'll see a summary of what type of HDB you can buy as well as your grant eligibility. This is just a preliminary assessment, so HDB will still review your application before finalizing. You'll also be able to choose your loan type. So for HDB loan, you'll see options such as prudent, moderate, and maximum. For HDB loans, however, you may want to choose the maximum loan amount. The reason for this is that you can repay early without any penalty, unlike bank loans. If you choose a prudent or moderate loan, you cannot increase your loan amount later. Next, within 30 days, you have to submit your actual application for the HFE. If you don't submit this within 30 days, you'll have to restart. You'll arrive to this page where you confirm your loan option. So if you're taking a loan, select HDB loan or bank loan. If you're not eligible for a HDB loan, that might mean that your income is too high. If not, go for a bank loan instead. Next, you'll be shown this page of different loan providers for your bank loan. If you haven't decided on which bank you want to go for, click on Decide Later. Next, fill up any additional details that HDB needs. And lastly, you'll come on to the final page where you'll see a review of your submission. Carefully check everything before submitting. Once submitted, you'll see a pending status. Processing time takes 2 to 4 weeks depending on HDB's application volume. And that's pretty much it for the HFE application process.